Good evening and a very, very warm welcome each and everyone on SuperGrads YouTube channel. I am Rahul Vaswani, product at SuperGrads, with a very special episode today for you all. So, in this evening, we are going to discuss on something very crucial. This is the season of interviews, and why not All India Rank 1 helping you out with the interviews. So, today we do have amongst us Mr. Debarnav Chatterjee, who is here to help you all, along with my family member, Mitransh. Mitransh has been giving you a lot of insights about IIM Indore, along with Kushal. Kushal could not make it today. So he is also over here to answer some very, very crucial questions related to IIM interviews. A very warm welcome, Debarnav, as well as Mitransh on this episode.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So, not wasting the time, many of the students are watching you right away. They wish to understand because, you have been with lot many friends. They may be having lot of different interview experiences. What was unique in their experiences that they have shared with you? So, one by one, Debanab, if you can answer this question first, then we'll go to Mitransh.
Yeah, so across the various people I have met on campus and my friends there, so I have seen that some of them had so the panels were very different for each of the people. So some had panels who were relaxed and they had fun during the interview, while there were some other people who had more stricter panels. So they
Okay.
probably got a little intimidated during the process and probably flustered a bit. But I think across everyone's interview, there was one thing that was common. Everyone held on to their nerves. Although they may have got flustered internally, they never let it out. They never let it show because that can significantly impact your performance. There were some people who were had extremely enjoyable experience. They cracked jokes with interviewers.
Okay.
I think Mitransh himself can share his experience. He had a delightful experience. I, on the other hand, had a more stricter panel. So yeah, I mean, it was not on the joking side. So yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
roughly
a
about it.
right point being made. So it depends completely on one panel or on the other. But Debanab, I need to understand one very important point from here from you. Are they actually putting the pressure? So, is the pressure building deliberately being done to understand the confidence levels and nervousness of the individual? How do they exactly perform under the pressure?
I definitely think that they do that because it tests your character whenever you are under pressure.
Okay,
Whatever you say, how you say everything, your calmness, your composure, everything comes across. So if you can maintain that, then that reflects very positively upon you. However, if somebody tends to lose it at those moments, then it shows that okay, that person had some superficial aspects of strength or composure within him, but innately that those characteristics were not very deeply imbibed.
great point being made by Debanab over here. He's saying that they are going to check your composure and deliberately going to put some questions out of pressure, and how you are exactly going to react at that point of time is being seen by them. Mitransh, are you agreeing with this? And if you can share some of
Yeah,
the experiences if you have with you right
completely,
now.
completely agree with Ivana. Another thing I think is that they try to break you.
Oh,
Suppose in talking about stress interviews, for example, my Rohtak interview, it was extensively question heavy. For example, back to back question, एक question के बाद एक question, एक question के बाद एक question. They didn't give me time to recover. For example, if I gave answer wrong, then they were not like, okay, this is wrong. They were like, next. They didn't even tell me if I was wrong. I know that I may be wrong. They were like, no problem. We'll just give you questions. So they wanted to break me. Where was my break point? Unfortunately, that didn't come. So at the end, they were like, okay, good interview, whatever, ended. So I think stress interviews are a very important part in this way. A lot of panelists are chill. For example, my Indore interview,
yeah.
there it was just a conversation like we are having right now. They asked me how am I, where am I from, what things I've been doing these past days, what are my hobbies. Then I said that I love to read about economics. Then they asked us, okay, what have you been reading recently? And such sort of, it's just like talking to someone. आप किसी से बात कर रहे हो, they want to know about you. So
I think बहुत अच्छी points बता रहे हैं मित्रांश यहाँ पर, and I think we all should be paying heed to this. So Debandap is sharing an experience with you that he said that panel was stricter, and Mitransh is saying कि IIM Indore का panel was not that strict, but Rohtak का था. In fact, he is clearly making a very crucial point over here. What was the pressure strategy also he's discussing with you guys. Back to back questions पूछे जा रहे थे मित्रांश से. In fact, वो सही बोल रहा है, गलत बोल रहा है, उसको realize ही नहीं किया देने का मौका दे रहे थे उस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे. सो दिस इज समथिंग विच इज वेरी क्रूशियल. आप लोग अपने दिमाग में बिल्कुल रखिएगा जब आप IIMs के इंटरव्यूज को फेस कर रहे हैं. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू यू गाइज इज, help me understand this because I was going through the IIM Indore's website and they just mentioned interviews. They did not mention this year online or offline. क्या कोई सरप्राइज आ सकता है मित्रांश? मतलब क्या ये इंटरव्यूज ऑनलाइन होने वाले हैं, ऑफलाइन होने वाले हैं इस बार? व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज द प्लान?
Sir, IIM Indore is a bit strict when compared to rules and regulations. So just because अभी COVID as a threat 100% नहीं गया है, तो I don't think so interviews offline होंगे. Again, there might be a possibility because rules are getting a bit normal, but I think it would be online.
Okay, so he's also not having a complete, complete news from the Indore's team on this, but yes, he's predicting it's going to be online. Uh, Now, question to both of you. अपन देवनगप से start करेंगे and we'll move to Mitransh after this. How did you exactly prepare and what are you going to suggest to the people who are coming to your campus now? कैसे interviews के लिए prepare किया था that point of time?
So I always feel that interviews test your meta skills, how you speak, how you think.
If you can elaborate this word meta skills, because many of the students may not be knowing it.
Yeah, sure. So meta skills are the very fundamental skills that we have, the soft skills basically. So your ability to communicate, your ability to read, write, all of those are considered meta skills. So now what I felt was interviews are essentially a test of your meta skills. Why? Because you have to communicate fluently, you have to think cogently to be able to communicate fluently. You need to have content to speak. I think these are the three broad parameters I would give to any interview. So it's a long-term preparation. However, in the short term, you can prepare. You can always, in terms of the content, it's imperative that you go through current news, you go through your school academics, or some latest developments in any particular sector you may be interested in that you want to put up in the interview. For example, Mitransh had said that he was interested in economics. So if somebody is willing to put up such a point, it always makes sense that you know what are the recent economic
Right.
developments in India or around the world. I think one thing that needs to be stressed on the most is you need to know, you have to start off at a very grassroots level. So you have to know information or stuff that is closest to to you. So basically your home or your own town. You build up from that and you reach your state, you reach your country, you reach the world, right? So only knowing international news does not help. And there's something I have understood because they can ask you questions from your district that, okay, so in your district, you tell us the demographic data or something. So it's good to do that sort of preparation in terms of building up the communication skills. Always good to speak fluently and try to speak fluently. If you feel you're stuttering at any moment, pause, think about it, introspect, start again, try to say the same sentence in a proper way. I think these are the short-term tips that I can give.
I think great point being made by Debanab Warrior. In fact, I'll tell you, Debanab, in the classroom sessions, we are teaching them soft skills, what you call meta skills over here. In the classroom sessions, we are helping them with the PD classes. In the soft skill sessions, we are telling them, in the classroom sessions, we are telling them to deal with the geographies, with the maps, with the things in and around you. And you should be building on your journey because, it's mostly related to you. The questions related to you are going to come into the picture. So it may be the district where you are right now. It may be the hobby in which you are showing an interest in anything of that sort. Definitely. Mitransh, coming to you, the same question to you as well. So how should they be preparing for the interviews?
I think Devanu got a very interesting point that preparing for an interview is a very long-term process because your communication skill, your soft skills, it's very difficult to दोबारा से उनको बनाना in a very short time. So
right.
What can you do in a short time? You can prepare your content. Content में क्या आता है? I think one of the very important things is your introduction because I think 9 out of 10 times, 8 out of 10 times, the interviewers tend to ask कि okay, please introduce yourself. And वहां से आपके इंटरव्यू का एक टेम्पो सेट हो जाता है. सपोज again very my favorite example, if I say in my introduction that I like economics, I am pursuing this course, I have won this competition, so बहुत heavy chances है that they ask questions on economics,
right?
And if you are strong, you are strong, then आपके लिए advantages है. But again ये आपने बोला कि नहीं मुझे मैथ्स पसंद है और मैथ्स आपको सही में नहीं पसंद है, आपने बस लिखने के लिए लिख दिया, so then you are at fault here because if they ask and you are not able to answer, then it's negative marks obviously. तो आई थिंक आपका जो कंटेंट रहेगा वही आपके इंटरव्यू को ड्राइव करेगा. So that is very important.
Fair point being made, and really a very interesting and important point for each and every one of you. आप जहां से खुद को इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं वहीं से टेम्पो बनता है, एंड यू शुड बी मेकिंग द कंटेंट बिफोर हैंड. मतलब आपके पास अगर कंटेंट रेडी होगा, then you will be in a better state of mind, then definitely you will be having confidence of dealing with the things. And really, Mitransh is making a point that, you know, जैसे वो टेम्पो आपका आगे जाता है इंट्रोडक्शन के साथ, उसी के साथ इंटरव्यू का फ्लो भी रहेगा आगे जाकर. So some points being made by both of them. Let me introduce let me tell a good news to each and everyone who is listening to us right now. And, you know, let us include Mitransh and Debanab in our panels also, because, you know, we have introduced a team from IIMs. We are introducing team from ISB Hyderabad, क्योंकि IPM interview preparation batch चालू हो गया है, guys. You can check it on SuperGrads pages right now. आप www.toprankers.com पे जाके check करिए. So for the mentorship support, we are also including Mitransh, Kushal, as well as Debanab to help you guys completely, and they'll help you take throughout this journey and help you reach the respective IIMs. And this is an announcement from my side. बिल्कुल आप 200 रुपए का बैच है, इनफैक्ट 199 रुपीज का बैच है. आके बंद करके अब भी जाके www.toprankers.com पे जाके सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिएगा. मैं अपनी टीम से ये भी कहूंगा कि इस पर्टिकुलर इवेंट के डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में भी इसकी लिंक डाल दे. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू यू गाइस. सो यू नो, एक बहुत बड़ा इशू ये रहता है ऑन ऑन द टी डे. बेसिकली हमारे होश उड़े उड़े होते हैं. So there are butterflies in the stomach, and, you know, how to deal with that nervousness part. Devan, what did you do at that point of time, or you know, what advice would you be giving to the guys right now?
Okay, so what I personally think is there is no need to be nervous. I mean, think of it this way: they are looking for an interesting conversation.
Right.
Now go and have an interesting conversation with them. I think all of us love to talk, all of us love to interact, all of us love to have good conversations, be it with our friends, be it with our family. Maybe the audience is different, so why not for once step out of our comfort zone or our shoes and go and interact with the faculty of IIM Indore who makes up your interview panel and have a good conversation with them. Now I think there is nothing to be nervous about. If you have prepared honestly, if you know that you have nothing to be afraid of, I don't think the entire nervousness bit slips in. However, we made a point in the beginning that there is often pressure created deliberately,
Right,
to test you to your extremes. So what do you do in those situations? It is natural you will get a little flustered because you know that these are high-stake interviews. So in such circumstances, just try to keep a smile on your face, and whatever nervousness you have, try to keep it to your subconscious. Just keep it on your mind and go around answering every question as best as you can. And when you're answering a question, don't think about whether your last question's answer was perfect. Because the moment you start thinking about that, there's a lot of, you feel that, okay, there was scope for improvement. I messed up in this exact word, or I should have included this point. So it's not a good idea to think about sunk cost. Just go, every question is a new attempt to answer, create a fresh impression. So I think that's the best way to deal with nervousness.
2 points being made over here, and very powerful points. First, आप जो कन्वर्सेशन करने जा रहे हैं बेसिकली वो इंटरेस्टिंग होना चाहिए, तो वो नर्वसनेस के साथ नहीं हो सकता. देवानंद ने एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट यहाँ पर आपके सामने रेस किया है. सो ग्रेट पॉइंट देवानंद. द सेकंड पॉइंट व्हाट ही इज स्पीकिंग ओवर हियर, अगर हम लोग जब नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन को आंसर करते हैं तब हमने ये सोचा कि पिछले क्वेश्चन में क्या गलत चीजें हो गई हमसे, तो प्रॉब्लम वहां पे चालू होती है. स्टॉप थिंकिंग, जो हुआ सो हुआ, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन के बारे में उस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे सोचना है. That's it. 2 very good advices being given by Devanav to each and every one of you. Mitransh, what is your take on this particular thing?
I think Devanav has explained beautifully that nervousness होना बहुत natural है. You can't stop being nervous. But again, आप nervous क्यों होते हो? Because आपको लगता है कि ये बहुत मेरी life का momentous occasion है. आप अगर उसको इस एंगल से लेके जाओगे तो you are bound to be nervous कि अगर मैंने ये बोल दिया तो ये हो जाएगा, ये हो गया तो ये हो जाएगा. शांति से. Suppose if I take the interview again, I know it's not that high stake also. I'll be much more calmer right now. I also fluttered when I talked. I also stammered when I talked. But up I understand कि okay, it's not that big of a deal. I can take time. I can take pauses. I can collect my thoughts. अगर आपके दिमाग में रहेगा कि नहीं बस मुझे आंसर करना है और आपके दिखेगा कि आप झटपटा रहे हो जैसे बोलते हैं हिंदी में, तो फिर वो समझ जाएगा इंटरव्यू कि यू आर नॉट कॉन्फिडेंट.
Not confident, yeah.
कॉन्फिडेंस दिखाना है, और कॉन्फिडेंस और ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस में भी बहुत हल्की सी लाइन होती है. आपको ये भी नहीं दिखाना है कि मुझे सब आता है, आपको ये दिखाना है कि जितना मुझे आता है, आई एम अवेयर ऑफ माई सेल्फ, आई नो माई सेल्फ. उनको बस आपकी पर्सनैलिटी गेज करनी है. दे डोंट वांट टू नो योर नॉलेज लेवल, फॉर दैट दे हैव द एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट. सो आई थिंक नर्वसनेस के लिए
अच्छा, एक इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन यहाँ पर मित्रांश, आई मीन जो पॉइंट्स आप बोल रहे हो, बेसिकली एक सेट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स हैं हमारे पास. इनफैक्ट लास्ट टाइम व्हेन वी वर प्रिपेयरिंग स्टूडेंट्स फॉर द इंटरव्यूज, वो लोग रस्टिक बैकग्राउंड से होते हैं, वो लोग गांव से होते हैं, उनकी इंग्लिश बहुत स्ट्रांग नहीं होती. तो खासकर ऐसा पर्टिकुलर बैकग्राउंड का स्टूडेंट, क्योंकि उन्हें कंप्रीहेंड करना तो इंग्लिश अच्छी तरीके से आती है, दे नो हाउ टू मार्क आंसर्स वेल इन द एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट, बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू स्पीच दे आर क्लूलेस. ये एक प्रॉब्लम हमने देखी लास्ट टाइम. और सबसे ज्यादा नर्वसनेस उनको होती है कि हम अपने आप को प्रेजेंट कैसे कर पाएंगे. एनी फूड फॉर थॉट फॉर दोस किड्स, या अगर बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स जिनकी इंग्लिश अच्छी नहीं है वो इस पर्टिकुलर एपिसोड को देख रहे हैं, तो उनको आप क्या कहना चाहोगे?
ये पॉइंट आई थिंक पहले क्वेश्चन में भी उठा था. प्रिपेयर जनरल आंसर्स, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है. व्हाई आईपीएम, योर इंट्रोडक्शन, आपके अपने बारे में और कुछ आप बताना चाहते हो, अपने अचीवमेंट्स के बारे में एक अच्छा सा आप वो लिख सकते हो. आपने बोला कि अच्छा आपको लगता है, थिंक अहेड. इफ यू थिंक कि मैंने ये बोला तो मुझसे ये क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं, उसका आंसर एक प्रिपेयर करके चलो दिमाग में.
वेरी गुड.
टॉक टू योरसेल्फ इन द मिरर, बहुत इफेक्टिव हुआ है. मुझे बहुत लेट पता चला था ये. सेंड, इफ यू टॉक टू योरसेल्फ इन द मिरर, आपका कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डअप होता है. सो आई थिंक दीज आर सम ऑफ द पॉइंट्स.
आई थिंक जो चीजें मित्रांश यहाँ पे बोल रहा है, हम लोग क्लासरूम्स में बोलते हैं, बिल्कुल एग्जैक्टली वही वाली चीज है कि आप पहले से प्रिपेयर्ड रहेंगे, आपके पास आपकी स्क्रिप्ट हैंडी है, देन यू कैन फेस एनीथिंग. एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली हम लोग उनको इस लेवल तक रिहर्स करने को बोलते हैं कि आपको अपने आंसर्स को कम से कम 6 से 7 मर्तबा रिफाइन करना है. बिकॉज व्हाट हैपेंस इज, इट्स लाइक दैट पर्टिकुलर लेटर विच यू वांट टू राइट टू समवन वेरी पर्सनल, लेकिन वो बहुत अच्छा होना चाहिए, राइट? इंटरव्यू इज दैट डे थिंग. सो तो हम उनको कहते हैं कि उस पर्टिकुलर आंसर को आप कम से कम 6 से 7 मर्तबा रिफाइन करो. एंड वी हैव सीन मैजिक. लास्ट ईयर देयर वर सम किड्स जिन्होंने इतने बेहतरीन आंसर्स बनाए थे, एंड वो जब रिहर्स करके बाद में आए तो इतना नेचुरली प्रेजेंट कर रहे थे उन आंसर्स को. सो दिस इज समथिंग. सो आईपीएम इंटरव्यू प्रिपरेशन बैच इज रेडी ऑन सुपरग्रैड्स पेजेस ऑन www.toprankers.com. अब अभी जाकर चेक करिए एंड एनरोल राइट नाउ. नाउ नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, एंड आई थिंक अ फन क्वेश्चन, बिकॉज बहुत सारे लोगों को बहुत सारे यूनिक एक्सपीरियंसेस होते हैं. आप अगर कुछ रिकॉल कर पा रहे हो फ्रॉम योर इंटरव्यू, सो स्टार्टिंग विद अपर्णा, बिकॉज ऑल इंडिया रैंक 1 के साथ क्या क्या हुआ था इंटरव्यू डे पे, लेट अस आस्क फ्रॉम हिम. यस देवना.
Yeah, so my interview, as I mentioned, my panel was quite strict. So they kept on firing questions at me, and the questions were a little hot potatoes, you can say. So they asked me very, I can say there's a few questions are political also. In the beginning, they asked me subject-based questions. So they asked me questions from math.
Political to understand, are you extremist or not? इस टाइप से कुछ किया basically?
No, so I'll tell you the exact details.
Yeah.
So initially they had started off with academic questions. I had said that math was my favorite subject, and they had asked me about math. Now that part was all very good. Then they had asked me questions from psychology because I had taken up a extra course on that during my school days.
Okay.
Post that, they had started asking me current affairs questions, but questions were like, do you think universal adult franchising makes sense? Now, essentially, they're asking me to critically analyze whether democracy makes sense.
Right.
Now, whenever you frame the question as makes sense, you are essentially, you feel that, okay, they're asking you to point out flaws in that.
Yeah.
Now, you can't, and you are not there in the interview to give your political opinions, right?
Right.
You are there to talk in a very balanced way. But
yeah.
at the same time, when you are asked questions like this, it can happen that your own personal affiliations or your own personal belief can kind of override this conscious thought that, okay, I have to give very balanced answers, and you may end up giving very political answers. And there's a very fine line that you have to stick to.
Right.
So I had to really be very conscious and very diplomatic in my answers.
Right.
And try to give those answers. One fun bit about my interview was as I told you, my panelists did not smile. They were wearing 2 masks throughout. So I could not read that expression at all throughout the interview. I got a little nervous after a few questions. They had asked me also about that time, around our interview time, there was the entire Taliban takeover of Afghanistan happening. So they had asked me what was the northwest province of Pakistan called. I did not know the answer, and I had just guessed, and I told them that I don't know, but I guess it is this. So, and they had actually rebuked me in the middle of the interview about that. So
Okay.
overall, I felt quite pressurized. But in the end, just before coming out of the room, they had said that okay, interview is over. So I had said that, sir, it was lovely interacting with both of you. I hope to meet you in Indore. So that was the last statement I made, and that was the one statement that had made them smile. So
Okay.
that was the
But
last
how
thing
did
I
you
said before
recognize them
coming out.
because they were wearing the mask? So from the facial expressions, from the eyes?
No, no, no. I did not recognize them. I knew that they must be professors because professors only make up
All
the
right.
panel.
No, no, they were
So,
smiling. आपको लगा ना कि
acha, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you know now your cheeks kind of.
yeah, cheese guys. Okay.
So, so that bit of perception I could have. So I had said that, and I don't know, but I think that may have made a positive remark about my confidence, uh, or the positive attitude that I went into the interview with.
Great point. In fact, you would not believe the burn of what is happening. I do not know. It's a coincidence. Yesterday itself, I was having a conversation with one of the parents, and he asked me the same question. मुझसे बिल्कुल same question पूछा गया. अगर political question पूछा जाए और we have one side, like specifically उन्होंने कहा ये चीज कि हम एक side लेना चाहते हैं तो क्या ले सकते हैं? So I told him that you have to give a balanced answer over there, and because they just want to understand really how diplomatic can you be, or what's point of time how are you going to balance the things, and they do not exactly want to see your that one side attitude. And very fair point being made by Devanab over here. और बहुत अच्छी advice सारे students के लिए. Okay, Mitransh, the same question to you as well. What were your unique experiences at that point of time, be it from Indore or Rohtak? You can share both of them.
First, I'll talk about Rohtak. So, Rohtak asked for an extempore, and the question was that first I was asking, what is your favorite color?
अच्छा.
And that time I was sitting in a different room, and that room was very vibrant, had different colors and everything in my background. So it's like, yeah, you have a very vibrant room. So what is your favorite color? And I said that my favorite color was blue. And then they asked me, okay, you have 30 seconds to prepare. You have to give an extempore on the color blue.
Oh. Oh, that's
So
so good. I'm sorry interrupting you over here. मुझे अच्छी तरीके से याद है. I was taking Vasu's interview, जैसे आपका भी ले रहा हूँ मित्रांश. I think last to last year की बात है या last year की बात है. And Vasu told me कि उसने ये कहा था कि मुझे डिबेट करना पसंद है इंदौर के इंटरव्यू की, और उसी वक्त उसको टॉपिक दिया गया एंड कहा गया कि अभी आप मेरे साथ डिबेट करो. सो सेम काइंड ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस आई थिंक मित्रांश इज आल्सो शेयरिंग. उससे कहा गया कि आपका फेवरेट कलर कौन सा है, ब्लू, और ब्लू के ऊपर आपको बातचीत करनी है. एंड रोहतक गाइस 100% इंटरव्यूज में उसने एक्सटेम्परे लिया है. Make sure you're preparing for micro presentation on extempore the way we have guided you. Yes, Mitansh, you can continue now.
yes, so this was, I think, a very interesting part which happened on Rohtak interview. In the interview, what happened was that I had a guitar in my background, and I had said in my introduction that I had done some certification in guitar. So one of the professors asked that, have you played that guitar on purpose, or is it just like that? Do you want that we ask you to play it? Because I had heard that they have done that, and I had prepared
Oh,
that I was ready to play the guitar if they asked me.
okay.
Then again, obviously, I said it was my room only, so I had the guitar in my background. And I was like, okay. Then the conversation started toward music. Then they
Okay.
asked me, Acha, what happened in the Grammys this year? Who is your favorite artist? Acha, can you name few of the songs, few of the albums? So again, as I said, the conversation goes the way you want it to. It's not like they'll throw anything out of anywhere. So I think
So,
it's
yeah. ग्रेट मित्रांश. आई थिंक बहुत अच्छी पॉइंट्स मित्रांश यहाँ पे बता रहे हैं. एक मुझे आई रिमेम्बर कि हम लोग आई एम रांची के साथ इंटरेक्ट कर रहे थे बिकॉज दे हैड कम ऑन बोर्ड विद अस. भी थोड़े दिन पहले की बात है यहाँ पर. एंड दे आल्सो टोल्ड मी द सेम थिंग. सम ऑफ द स्टूडेंट टोल्ड मी कि सॉरी सम दे टोल्ड अस दैट सम ऑफ द स्टूडेंट टोल्ड देम कि उनकी पेंटिंग्स फेवरेट है. तो उन्होंने बोला आप मुझे पेंटिंग्स दिखाइए. इनफैक्ट किसी ने कहा सिंगिंग उसकी फेवरेट हॉबी है, तो 3-4 गाने गवाए गए थे उस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे. द सेम थिंग मित्रांश इज मेकिंग ओवर हियर कि अगर ये ऑनलाइन नहीं होता हो सकता है कि उससे कुछ परफॉर्मेंस भी कराया जाता दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. डेफिनेटली. नाउ मूविंग अहेड गाइस. So usually we definitely prepare for the D-Day, but उस दिन के लिए on interview day हम लोग को कैसे प्रिपेयर करना चाहिए खुद को. सो हाउ शुड वी बी प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर डे. उस दिन में आपको दिमाग में क्या ख्याल में रखना है? देवन, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम यू.
So on the D-Day or the day of the interview, stay happy and smiley. I think that's a very positive thing you can do. If you come across as a jolly person, happy person, that always creates the vibe of the interview. So it's very important to have the right atmosphere. Apart from that, approach it with a positive mindset. um, every interview there is a lot to learn from, so just approach it from that perspective that okay, at the end of the interview you will have a lot to take away from that. That interaction will be quite defining in its nature. So that is something. And I think be honest in the interview, that's very important. Be honest and try to not be nervous. And even if you are nervous, don't consciously show that. You have to create this dual self. One self can be nervous, but the outside face has to be one of composure and calm. So I think these are the key tips I'll give.
Mitransh, tips from your side.
Uh, Another thing I think which didn't come up in the whole conversation is dressing.
Oh, yeah.
I think dressing is very important. You will not get negative positive marks for dressing good, but you will definitely get negative marks for dressing shabbily.
Right.
फॉर
Right.
एग्जाम्पल अगर आप नॉर्मली ऐसे टी शर्ट में बैठ के पीछे खराब बैकग्राउंड में खराब साउंड के साथ ज्वाइन करते हो, there's a possibility that उनका इनिशियल इंप्रेशन ही आपके ऊपर खराब हो जाए.
खराब चला जाए.
बट वही आप अगर एक प्रॉपर फॉर्मल शर्ट के साथ बैठे हो, यू हैव अ डिसेंट बैकग्राउंड, यू आर लुकिंग वेल ग्रूम, तो एक पॉजिटिव वो बैठता है, तो कॉन्वर्जेशन जो है चांसेस बेटर हो जाते हैं कि अच्छी डायरेक्शन में जाए. For the D-Day, other things would be that, for example, you have prepared answers. Go through your answers. एक दो बार कांच पे बोल के देख लो, अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ बोल के देख लो कि okay, you asked me this and I'll repeat. And it should come naturally. It should not look like that you have mugged it up. This is important. Another thing that very basic questions, for example, chief minister, defense minister, prime minister, president, vice president, second vice president, ये सब जो questions हैं, इनको एक बार revise कर लो. ये बहुत common questions हैं. And I think other than that, stay calm, all will be good.
Great points being made over here, and I think ये इंटरव्यू बहुत लंबे तक जाने वाला है because जो पॉइंट्स यहाँ पर बताई जा रही हैं are very very crucial for any interview, not only for IIMs. Now, moving ahead, guys, you know, IIMs के साथ एक peculiarity है, खासकर IPM के इंटरव्यूज के साथ हमने देखा है. इंदौर ने खासकर पिछले साल, so last year they demanded videos from the students, but last year they fired students with lot of questions from 11th and 12th. Okay, so exactly ऐसा क्यों किया जाता है? Mitransh, if you can help me over there.
I think I am an outlier in this because I'm a dropper. So, and I had PCM.
Okay.
So again, I was asked that, okay, are you comfortable with these subjects? And I said no.
Okay.
Because
so
I'm
over
a
there
dropper.
you played safe.
I am a dropper. Physics, chemistry, I might be able to answer conceptual questions. For example, okay, why magnetic field is that? But for example, questions which require formulas and stuff, I'll not be able to answer. On the other hand, maths and economics, which are my stronghold, I think I'll be more comfortable in those. So they just ask questions on those. I think the reason for which they ask this question is simply that they want to know how you were as a student.
Right, right. Very
they want to see that how you were in long term, not just right before the interview, because the syllabus in 11th and 12th is quite vast and you can't revisit everything in the last 2 days. So if you are able to answer 11th and 12th question, it's a good possibility that you are a good student. It's just simply to gauge that.
And past is reflection of future, definitely, because if you're a good student over there, then definitely in future also you're going to learn well. Now, Devanam, the same question to you. Why did they exactly ask 11th and 12th questions, according to you?
Yeah, I think I'll agree with Mitransh. Finally, they want, why are you going to a college? You're going there to study, apart from many other things. But I think that's the primary purpose of any college. Traditionally, colleges are supposed to impart education. So they want people who are academically oriented. They don't want people who are saying that, okay, academics is my, like in my list of priorities, that comes last. I want to do 5 other things. And the 6th thing in the list is my academics. So they don't want that sort of people. So I think it's a good filtration mechanism.
Right. Okay. So the same point being made by Devanam also over here. Next question to you is, I've seen people flaunting in the interviews. They're, self-bragging or, when asked about their achievements. What is the right way of talking about one's achievement in an interview? So this question can be answered by Mitransh over here only. So Mitransh, किस तरीके से answer करना चाहिए? That's a This is something which is problematic. Yeah.
सर किसी भी क्वेश्चन को आंसर करने का सिंपल तरीका मैं बताता हूँ. इट्स नॉट अबाउट दिस क्वेश्चन, आई एम टॉकिंग इन जनरल अबाउट एनी क्वेश्चन. Suppose you are asking me a question. It's polite just to listen properly, take 5 seconds, 3 seconds, and then answer. You don't have to blabber. You have to take your time. For example, it's obviously very tempting that you, whenever you hear a very common word, ki achievement, yeah, this, yeah, drop, I'll just start speaking. Don't do that. It's very off-putting for the other person. This is something which I am at the wrong of doing. I usually do this, so I had to consciously make myself that okay, I'll take time and listen to the other person and then speak. So same goes with this question, that whenever ask the question about your achievements, you don't need to brag. You need to show that okay, I was interested in this. That's why I pursued this. It should be in this manner. So I think this is the other Devana can go.
Devana, you can add something. I mean, do you want to add something to this?
Yeah. So just to add on, I mean, they may often. So if you want to highlight your achievement, for example, I had won a few international writing competitions. So I wanted to put that out also a bit deliberately.
Right.
Because writing was one of my strong suits. So for that, in my Rohtak interview, they had brought up a topic about writing. And that time I had said that, okay, I had won one or two competitions and I was also a published author on Statesman. So that they really appreciate. Don't just one advice will be not to go on at length about your achievement. That just shows that you are overly obsessed with it. Keep it crisp, pretty short. But at the same time, give enough context to understand what that achievement truly entails. So that is something. And there should not be any arrogance in the tone you speak in. I mean, it's not something that's very tangible again, right? The tone, how can I explain what sounds arrogant? But it's again the setting that it creates. So just try to be polite and answer everything. Yeah.
A fair points being made by both of them. मित्रांश ने एक बहुत अच्छी पॉइंट बोली कि टाइप ए पर्सनालिटी होती है, लोगों की आदत नहीं होती है कि पूरी तरीके से सुने. सो ऐसे लोगों को बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे होते हैं. इट्स अ नॉर्मल थिंग. सो आप लोगों को 2-3 सेकंड का पॉज लेकर उसके बाद क्वेश्चन को आंसर करना चाहिए. दिस इज वन एडवाइस बीइंग गिवन बाय हिम. देवर्नव ने ये पॉइंट बोला कि एक के बाद एक अचीवमेंट्स बोलोगे तो एरोगेंट साउंड करोगे. सो एक तरीका होता है. मैं यहाँ पे एक पॉइंट अपनी तरफ से भी ऐड करना चाहूंगा. सो डू नॉट यूज सुपरलेटिव्स. मैंने ये देखा है कि बहुत सारे लोग है ना सुपरलेटिव्स का बहुत यूज करते हैं. आई एम वेरी स्मार्ट. तो ये जो वेरी वर्ड है ना, वो दिखाता है कि आप एरोगेंट हो. और अपनी जो लैंग्वेज है उसको पोलाइट रखो. और इन सुपरलेटिव्स का अगर आप इस्तेमाल नहीं कर रहे हो तो आप अपने अचीवमेंट्स भी बता सकते हो और बहुत पोलाइट मैनर में सामने रख भी सकते हो. सो दिस इज एन एडवाइस फ्रॉम आवर साइड. एंड एक चीज है मित्रांश, देवर्धन, मैं आप लोगों से बहुत टाइम से सोच रहा था कि डिस्कस करूं. हम लोग के वीडियोस, खासकर मित्रांश ने बहुत सारे वीडियोस बनाए इस चैनल पे. हम लोगों ने बहुत सारे वीडियोस बनाए. बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स आके देखते हैं लेकिन चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं करते. सो एक रिक्वेस्ट आप दोनों से एक बार बोलो इनको कि सब्सक्राइब करें, so that they listen to you guys. Yes, Mitransh and Devanam.
So guys, I think the content being available on SuperGrads is best, top of the line content you will get anywhere. The insights which we give, the insight which Kushal gives, the insight which Devarnav will give are extremely best in line. So I think it would be very beneficial for you guys to subscribe to the channel. So do subscribe, like this video, and bell button with above.
Bell button with above. Yes, Devarnav.
Yeah, same. I think the same request. I mean, everybody is putting in effort and you are getting experiences right from the heart of IIM Indore, people who have been there, done that, to put it that way. So yeah, just hit the subscribe button because it does not take anything to do that. Like all the videos, comment, and share it with all your other friends who are preparing for IPMAT or whatever other exam.
All right, moving ahead and getting the same story further now. Now, next question to you is, many times the problem is the question for which you are not sure about. I mean, you do not have an answer to. How to respond to that particular question? Because, usually वो लय तोड़ देता है उस इंटरव्यू की पूरी तरीके से. और काफी बार ऐसा भी देखा गया है देवर्नव मित्रांश की एक के बाद एक क्वेश्चंस आते हैं जिनका आंसर हमें नहीं पता. So how to deal with that situation? First, starting from Mitransh and coming to Devanam next.
I had a very simple strategy because I knew कि मैं हर question answer नहीं कर सकता. Right. There are bound to be questions which I'll not know the answers to. So I simply just told that suppose it was a physics question. So that I am a dropper and I have not been in touch with physics for a very long time. And I know that I have read about this, but it's just slipped my mind. And I'll read upon this right after the interview. But right now I don't know the answer. So you have to be polite, you as well as to show that why you didn't know. And if you don't know, just simply it's a factual question, you don't know the answer. You simply say that I am not aware. I'll read upon this after the interview. That shows
Great.
that you want to learn. So
Right.
simply.
Great piece of advice. Yes, Debana.
Yeah, I just be honest. That's the one thing I would say, that if you don't know some, okay, so there are two things. You may not recall something right at that point. So in that case, you can always ask them for 30 seconds. You can say that um, I I knew this, but I can't recall it right now. So can you allow me 30 seconds to think about it? Or can you just go on to the next question? I'll try to recall by the end of the interview and answer. Some such thing you can always say. My strategy when I did not know was that I used to say I did not know, then I used to attempt to answer the question. So,
Okay.
for example, if there was a question that I was not aware of, I used to say that, sorry, I'm not really aware of the answer, but I'd still like to take a shot at it based on my based on some subsidiary knowledge that I have on this topic, and I used to try to attempt it. So, I mean, that was my strategy because I always felt that humility, you accepted your own ignorance, but then you again showed a positive growth mindset that okay, I am not defeatist in nature. I am willing to take a shot. So I think that is something that I always practiced on my own, and it did work out
That point
possibly.
of time. Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is the same thing which we are also suggesting to students. I'll add few more points over here. So Debanna was making a point. I think पहले भी उन्होंने एक चीज बोली, बाद में ये चीज बोली कि you have to be honest. And why? Because we have seen many of the students falsifying the answers, or that speaking lie that point of time. And guys, let me tell you, the interviewer already knows the answer. और क्योंकि उसको आंसर पता है, तो आप सिर्फ एक झूठ बोलते हुए व्यक्ति दिखते हो उसके सामने। और क्योंकि यू आर फॉल्सिफाइंग इन फ्रंट ऑफ हिम, वो आपके नंबर्स काट देगा। सो बिल्कुल झूठ मत बोलना। हाँ, बाकी देवर ने एक बहुत अच्छा तरीका आपको बताया है। इफ यू नो समथिंग अबाउट इट, यू कैन स्टार्ट इट विद आई नो समथिंग अबाउट इट, or I would like to attempt this question, but I do not know the exact answer of this. Something of that sort is going to help you. But there was one more point coming to my point. Was an AIR rank one an advantage that point of time for you in the interview? So how did that play for you that point of time?
So okay, so this is actually a myth. So just to break this bubble, so you don't know your rank until the interview has happened and the final shortlists are
Right,
out,
right, right,
that you have
right,
been
right.
accepted or not.
Right.
So only at that point. Why is that? Simply because your final All India rank
Mhm.
is a composite of both your aptitude test score, which is the IPMAT exam, as well as your interview
Interview
score.
part as well.
So how can they possibly release a rank
Mm.
prior to the interview happening? Because that's a component.
Right.
So that's why you only come to know it later on. That's why I also did not know that I was AIR one. I just knew that I was among the 900 odd students who had been shortlisted for interview, and I knew that okay, I wanted to do very well in the interview, so I approached it with that. I did not have any background leak that okay, I was AIR one, I had done very well in the aptitude test or something. So that is not something you're going to come to know. So don't expect ranks prior to the interview. That will come later on. Approach the interview with that very positive and growth mindset that you can harness.
So, I think this interview is really, really going to be really helpful for each and everyone who wishes to give interview, be it for colleges, be it for jobs. And thank you, Debanab and Mitranj, for making it big. Every point spoken by you two guys is worth it. With this sentence, I'm going to say thank you to each and every one of you. Subscribe SuperGrads YouTube channel. Check us on Telegram as well. A lot of insightful things being given on both the channels. Thank you guys. Thanks a lot.